This is Rebecca from Papeterie de Choix, and welcome to the next installment of making a mini journal. I'm working on the signatures now, and I've already made 5 sets. I'm going to finish this page to add to this one to show you what I've done and how I've done it. But since this was so monotonous, I'm just doing this one as the example. But there's going to be 5 signatures at 8 pages each, I believe is right. And I've torn them. I'm going to have them stick out just slightly with this ragged edge because I like how that looks. A little bit of frog in my throat. So let me show you how I did it. Now this is some coffee dyed paper that I already had. I didn't make it specifically for this project. I try to keep stacks ahead, and I try to use all the same batches that I make in a project if possible. So I had 10, I think it was 10 sheets of this 9x12. So in order to get this size of the paper, these are 2 3/4 inches wide or thereabouts, minus the rip parts, and I think it's 4 1/4, no, 3.5 inches tall. So the way I did it, and everything I'm doing is tearing. The first thing I did is fold it into this way and give it a crease, because every edge is torn except for the edges that are folded. So all I'm doing now is just laying my ruler right in that crease and just ripping it. Now, since this is 9x12 paper, what I have left here is going to be a 6x9, and I need my papers to be 2 3/4 inches wide. So if I fold it again this way, then it's going to be right at 3 inches. And if it's a little off, that's not a big deal because we're going to be ripping it down. But the one thing I am doing is just sort of measuring, because this book is so little, there's not a lot of room for error. So what I'm doing here is just making me a little mark at the 2 3/4 line from the fold, like so. And just lining the ruler up to give me that 2 3/4 ish tear line. It's going to be a little over. It shouldn't be under any, but it might be a little over, just because of the way the paper tears away from the ruler. So then I just eyeball a little section on this right side. To me it's the bottom, and then from there, to get 2 out of each one, I just lay my ruler down on the 7 at the bottom here, and just put a light mark at 3.5 and a light mark at the beginning. Move it up and do the same thing again. Now this is just me wanting to be as precise as possible. Since I am not cutting the paper, I'm tearing it. If I was cutting it, I would put some small stacks in my guillotine and do it that way. But since I'm I'm wanting torn pages for this project. I'm doing them one at a time. And of course I'm getting me a stack of some scraps over here to use to punch out for hole reinforcements and stuff like that later. So now we've done that one, so let's do this side. And just fold it up. And measure 2 3/4 from that fold. And the same again here. Now, I won't be putting these signatures in right away because I have some digitals that I'm making for this project. I think I've got 5 picked out that I'm going to put in here. And I'll have those available once I get them all done and get this video uploaded. I'll make them available on the Buy Me a Coffee site so you can download them for free and use them in your projects, whatever that you might want to use them for. But they're vintage images from the public domain that I'm just editing to work with this little project. I'm using the picture on the front, this picture here. I did this in a video a couple of weeks ago. She's my inspiration, so I'm looking for vintage images that convey the same look that she's conveying in this picture. So, but that's what's going to be on the cover of this little book we're making. So this will be the last page on this section. I was just going to do either 3 or 4 signatures, but when I put all these together and put them in the book, I saw that I had a lot more room than I thought I was going to have. So, and I just love how it looks with that raggedy edge. So it goes in just like that. And the book, I hit my light, changed the color on me. So this book is, I thought it was 4 1/4, but it's not. It's 3 3/4. So, which makes it even smaller. So yeah, that's. I just love that little look. I don't mind that the pages stick out a little bit when they're ragged like this. If they were smooth, I would be cutting them back. But you can see how it looks there, and then open it up, and how it's going to look inside. They'll be, like that. But like I said, I'm going to be making pockets to go on either side here. I'm going to be adding some it's going to look sort of like glassine, but it's the deli papers. I'm going to be cutting some of those down and putting in here, and a few other things, plus the digitals that I'm making. So when I'm ready to go on to the next step, I'll be back and we'll add some more pages and things to this section. But it's looking kind of cute so far. Alrighty, so I will be back with the next part of the project in just a little bit. Okay, here are my 5 images that I'm going to cut out. This was the last one I printed. Let me get my thoughts in order. I'm switching gears again and my brain don't want to catch up. So the way I printed this, I left a 1/2 inch to fold here underneath. I will be cutting it over here so that it can wrap around the side, and then also I'll leave a 1/2 inch at the bottom. So I'm going to start with the 1/2 inch at the bottom. I didn't measure this. I know that my little image is 3 1/4, I think it is, but I didn't measure what the whole thing that I need. So 4 1/4, that's what I need. And I really should take this off, but I'm not going to. So 4 1/4. Make sure my paper's laying down the way I need it to. Okay, put that to the side. And then our image should be 2 1/2, which it is. So, and then add a 1/2 inch makes it 3. Oh, my goodness. So I need to cut it at 3. No, that's not right. Cut it at, let me measure this again. Okay, I need it to fold right here. So 3 and 2 1/2 is 5 1/2. I knew 6 would give me too much, so here we go. This should be it right here. Yeah, that looks better. Now, I am going to get my little bitty scoreboard, and before I cut any more, I'm going to make sure that I did this one right. It's the last one I printed, so if I need to print it again, I can go and do that. Now, the reason that I put the wide part on this side is because I'm going to be sewing these little pockets into the journal with the signatures, and so I need them to be folded on this side and glued on this side. So right here at that 2 1/2 mark, I'm just putting a little, just barely enough to give me the line, and I don't know if you can even see that there, but I'm going to go ahead and fold it. Now, I'm not putting these in white. I'm going to be spraying them with some alcohol ink in just a few minutes, but I just want to double check that what I've done is right. That looks good, except that my fold is off at the bottom. Yeah, there we go. And so the other thing I'll be doing is after I have sprayed it, I'll end up making a little pocket envelope sort of out of this with this will go down on the back, this will slide over, very much like a seed packet. It's basically what I'll be making, is a seed packet. But with this part folded over here. So I'm going to cut out the rest of these since I now know that I've got all my measurements right. And then I'm going to spray them and just get them ready. I'm still in the process of building the do it this way, building the signatures. So 5 1/2 here, And then I need this one. This was 4 1/4. Not 4 1/2, 4 1/4. Right there. And there's that one. And this one also 4 1/4. I'm going to go back to this one and make sure that I did it at 4 1/4, because I might have, no, I did it. I did do it in the right way, yay. Okay, and now 5 1/2. And this is just regular copy paper. I think it's like 20 pound maybe. Something I'm sure I probably got at Walmart. I very seldom buy copy paper because it seems to last me a long time. Okay. And that one. And that one. No, I did something wrong there. What did I do wrong here? Oh, I did not cut it right here. But I can make that work. It'll be fine. Okay. So, now I'm going to be spraying these off camera because it's too much of a issue to try to get my tub up here and spray, and all you'll see is my hand going like this. So, but I'll come back and show them to you, and then we'll assemble them. Well, we'll put the score marks in. Won't assemble them yet, but I'll arrange them, and we'll put them in place. That's what we'll do. So I will be back shortly. Okay, so I've got all of these inked, and they look pretty decent. Some of them are a little bit darker than others. This was the first one I did, and so my little spray bottle got a little bit of a attitude. But this is what I use. I just use the 2 ounce sprays. This is tea. My husband made it this morning, and I just put about that much up in the bottle and fill the rest with alcohol. This is my coffee ink. It's the same that's in this bottle that I use as my bulk to ink the edges. The only difference is I mix it roughly half and half with out of that bottle, and then the rest of it alcohol, even though that already does have alcohol in it. So that's the way I did these. I spray them first with the tea. The tea puts a smooth layer of dampness over the paper, and it's very uniform in color, whereas the coffee is very dark right off the bat, and that it helps it, to me anyway, it helps it give it a more uniform color to spray the coffee on top of the tea. And you can see this is the order that I did them in, and you can see sometimes the coffee will dry just a little bit, around that hole, and that's where you get these spurts from. Or if you mash it in short, quick presses, then it'll also do that a little bit. But you can see that this one was turned out very dark, but these two turned out a little more uniform. So now what I'm going to do is get my little scoreboard back over here, and I'm just going to score these. I'm not going to fold them yet, but I am going to score them just to get them ready, and I'm going to be a little bit more substantial with it this time. I don't really like this. It's too wide, I think. But anyway, it'll be alright. So, so I'm scoring these at, I know I cut that at a 1/2 inch, or not cut it, but scored it at a 1/2 inch, but that's going to be right on that mark. But I'm going over 1/8 on this one. Sometimes it's hard to get all those little lines just right. And I know I just got through saying I wasn't going to fold it, but now that's what I'm doing, because I want to see how that worked. Yep. It's going to have to go at the 2.5, because that's what I measured it for. Otherwise it's going to be out of whack. So it'll just have to be out of whack a little bit this way. Yep, there we go. That's just fine. Now I am going to just do that much right there just to get my shape. That already looks cute. And because I can't glue them yet. I can't glue them until after I put them in. So 2.5. Now this one is a little bit odd because it was narrower, so it's gonna it should be centered, but it's gonna look a little different. Let me turn it this way so I can see what I'm doing. I bought this little school board thinking that it would help me, and I suppose it does, but it didn't have the numbers. They're not, I mean, you can, if you hold it up like this and let the light catch on it just right, you can see them, but I just didn't think it was that user-friendly, and I still don't think it's that user-friendly. Now I'm going to have to do just a little bit of adjusting on these, but sometimes that's normal. So again at 2.5. But one reason is because this is so wide, and also these grooves are pretty wide as well. Whereas on the big one, my 12 by 12, the thing's not as wide, and it's the grooves are not as wide. Okay. So it gives it room, like you can see on this one, even though I followed it, because it's so wide. Look how narrow it is here and how wide it is here. So I'm going to bring that back around a little bit. And look how much it is off here from this one. Same thing. So yeah, I'll be doing a little bit of adjusting on these, I think, when I get ready to actually sew them in to the journals, or to the, signatures. And this is the one that I completely forgot to measure this bottom, but like I said, I can still make that work. That will not be an issue. Yeah. So this might end up going into the donate. I'm not happy with it at all. Yeah, see how it's okay. One more. The one good thing about it is they are easily adjusted. So I will just keep that in mind as I'm doing this. Okay. I have to say this is my favorite one. I did it in two variations. This is the duller one. I took some of the saturation out, but it was very bright, so I did a what I call an original edit, where I keep the original colors, and then I have one where I not on all of them, but take some of the saturation out so that it looks a little bit more vintage. I did this one and this one and this one. These three I took about a quarter of the brightness on my little thing that I use. I took a quarter of the brightness off, otherwise they'd be brighter. But these two, I left these the same. I mean, I edited them, give them some contrast, and and obviously resized them. If I printed them the size that I made them, they'd be huge. Okay, so let's put this to the side, and let's get out these little signatures here. Now, I sized them so that they would work sort of in line with the size of the pocket, or the page rather. And what I want to do is make these little center top loading little pockets. So that's going to be the first one. I want this one to be the second one. And when I'm ready to actually put them in, I'll finish the scoring and stuff. Did you see it just run away? It's like I don't want to go in there. Okay, and then I want this one to be the third one. This one the fourth one. Like that. And this one the last one. Now. So that's my little envelopes made for the center of each signature once I get there. Now this is going to end up being a somewhat naked little journal. But the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to find a couple of images that I like to make pockets on the inside of the front and back cover. So that will be the next stage of doing. So all I'm doing right now is just making the ephemera and arranging it. And then once I get that done, then I'll just go through and get everything folded, glued, etc. And we'll get the signatures sewn through. So that's this part for this little part of the journal. And one thing I wanted to do was kind of use her as a guide, and kind of get this carefree attitude. Very I first looked up circus and got nothing that I wanted to use anyway. So I went to I think I typed in carnival and clown. I did type in clown. And I forget what other mime. I typed in a mime. And so that I was able to find these images. One thing that I will go through and show you real quick. This is the front of a music, sheet music. And this one obviously is. This was just a picture from a scene from I guess a silent film, but it's a drawing. It's not an actual photograph. And then this was the not the front page, I don't guess, but anyway, it was a scene out of this Boston Sunday Herald. And then this was a sheet music cover. So, alrighty, I'm going to go find some more images to use, make the front and back pockets for the covers, and then we'll go on to the next stage. Okay, I have been busy this afternoon. I went ahead and did each one of the little pockets in these first 4 signatures. So I'm doing the last one on camera so you can see how I did it, and all such as that. And then I have in the next step I'm going to show you as well. So as you know, I already folded these a little earlier. So what I'm going to be doing here is coming in a 1/2 inch and scoring at in this case it's going to be 3 3/4, but it's a 1/2 inch from the top here, and then a 1/2 inch from the bottom. Make sure everything is lining up. Okay, that looks sort of straight. And then I'm coming in, let's see, make sure I have the right little mark here. So I'm cutting out this little square right here, and I'm making sure that the score line is in the part that I cut off. I don't want to leave that on. And then on the back of it, I'm also going just above the score line and taking it out completely. On both sides, the top and the bottom. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm doing is making sure that everything lines up. And if it's off just a little bit, then I just am making sure that's there, and then I'm just pushing the seam or the fold out just a little bit, so that everything is where it's supposed to be. Now, because this paper is so very flimsy, I'm having to round the corners with a sheet of paper under it, otherwise it just bogs up in my corner punch. And I'm punching this on a number 10 all the way around, and I'm having to cut it to keep me the straight edge that I need. So whenever you come across papers that are just too flimsy, just put a paper under them and they'll work. It'll work for you. But it does have to be lined up, otherwise it won't cut straight, or it won't be straight on your project. And I've got my little bitty paper trimmer just over here. Now this one, I didn't cut it straight. Let's do that again. There we go. That's a little better. Well, there's something about it that's still not quite. I think I had it out of line. Yep, I did. Right there. So the next thing, I'm just going to put the little folds down, make sure that, and it's funny, the ones I did off camera, I cut just as straight as could be, and that one, I did not. Okay, so just making sure that everything lines up right, and then I'm going to go through here and ink these little edges like so. And do this one because it will show. And this back here. Okay, now the other thing I've been doing also is just using the scoreboard to find my middle on the back. So this is 2.5 inches, so I need 1 1/4, and I'm just putting a little tiny mark, just this little tiny mark here, so that I can put a thumb notch right there. And I just line that mark up with the center of that arrow, and it gives me just a little thumb notch. I don't go too deep. Okay, so now I'm going to step over here and press all this. Well, actually, I've got one more to go, don't I? This one right here. And this one. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay. Okay, that's that press, and it can go right in here and just, it has a little home in there now. Now, I'm going to take all these out, because I'm going to show you the other thing I've done, and I'm going to put the back one on camera. I made a little pocket. These, I said earlier that I was going to go find 2 more images from the public domain to make the pockets with. So this is the one I put on the front, and I made it so that it comes out a little bit like this. Okay, so let me show you how I did it. So I have a 1/2 inch on either side, and this was just white cardstock. This is the offcuts I've been using. And I just took the little ink dauber and just went up both sides, because this is going to be folded in. But one thing I am going to do before I forget is I'm going to run some ink across this, because at the very top you can see that down in there just slightly, it can be seen. And so I took a paintbrush and just dipped it in my coffee ink and just put a light coating here so it wouldn't be stark white. So I want to remember to just add a little bit here so that it doesn't show. Okay. So what we have here is I'm going to make a score line at the edge of the picture, a 1/2 inch from the edge this way, and at the edge of the picture a 1/2 inch this way. But I'm also coming in 1/4 of an inch on both sides. Now this is 60-pound. Yeah, this is 60-pound cardstock, so it's not quite as flimsy as what I've been working with. So here you can see on the back the score lines. Now the other thing that I'm doing to make sure that the bottom works out the way that I want it to is I am going in and just I'm just using this corner punch just to, I don't know why these things keep going down your shirt. So now what I'm doing is just folding that here, folding that like that, and doing the same on this side, so that this is what you're left with, just like that. So I'll be putting glue along here on both sides. And then on that little bitty triangle, just a little bit, not much, just a little bit right here. And then along this bottom from crease to crease. Like that. And then I'm going to stick my finger in the glue. So I put the pocket as far to the edge as possible, and then just a tiny bit below this. I did it so that this line could be seen. So that's what I'll be doing here. So this is going to go like so, and push that up under, and it needs to go up just a little bit. This side needs to go up. Now I'm going to go press this with the iron so that this little folded up part grabs and stays and don't come loose from where it is. I still think that side needs to come up a little bit, but I need to get it to move. It might already be stuck. Oh, there it goes. Barely. Okay, let me get this pressed before it sets completely. Make sure it's all in place. Okay, believe that or not, it worked out very well. But one thing, I did do it when it was flat, but I'm going to do this little part again right here. Very careful like. Now, this opens up just like that, just like this one does. So they're very close. This might be a smidgen off, but it's very close. So let's put these back in. We're almost ready to sew the signatures in. Now, the way I plan on doing it, we'll see if I actually get to do it the way that I plan. But you can see in here where everything is lined up and it's evenly spaced. So I'll be making, in the back here, I'll be making 5 holes across, probably about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch in here and then up here. And I'm just, it's going to be like a pamphlet stitch, but it's just going to be 2 holes. I'm not doing 3 holes on these tiny little things. And I'll be tying the string off in the center of these envelopes in here, and then when I'm done, all this will get glued, except for this part, but the side and the bottom will get glued, and then all the strings will be to the inside. So that is the plan for the next part, because I think that's where we are. I think we're ready to do that part. So so I'll be back. I'm doing this at night, so it probably will be tomorrow, but it'll all be just a, a continuous thing for you. But I'm just thinking out loud. It'll probably be tomorrow when I finish these. So at any rate, that was the next step. So I will be back for you in just a little bit. So we've got all of the signatures in. So this is what it looks like now. And all the little pages with all the little pockets in, and they're sewed in here. This little flap lifts up and you can put stuff in there. So the next thing that we have to do is put the cover on, and I'm going to put just a piece of the fabric that I ripped off, and I'm going to just do a little experiment first before I tie this down. My idea is that it will go around, but I will fish this through the binding on the back, but I want to see kind of where it's going to fall, because I really don't want it falling over her face if possible. So if I can just have it come below it just a tad, then that'll be fine. But I'm going to be having this rose right here. So I'm also debating on whether to have the tie under the picture, still have it fished through here, but it would be loose on the back because I don't want to glue it across the back cover, but it would be glued underneath the front. So that's another thing that I'm playing with and might actually like better. Okay, so let's put that there, put that there like that, and that like that. And yeah, I definitely like that better. Or I don't have to glue it down here, but I can definitely run it through here and put it underneath the picture. So yep, that's what I'm going to do. Now, but before I do that, I'm going to clean it up just a little bit, get all the loose threads off of it. I'm not going to spray it with starch or iron it, because it's just going to get, well, I could actually. Yeah, I think I will spray it with starch and iron it after all, and that'll get it flat. And then if it ends up getting curly and whatnot afterward, then that's fine. But I'm going to pause the camera, iron this flat, and then we'll fish it through. Okay, so let's see if I can fish this through here left-handed. I'm going to have to turn it this way, I think, and fish it through from this side, so that I can do it right-handed, and I think I'm going to need another, yeah. I wonder if I should go over and under. I'm going to try that, over and under. Alright. Well, it definitely looks better after being ironed, that's for sure. Okay. Let me push it up a little bit to get it more in the middle. Okay. There we go. Okay, I think that's going to be that. Alright. Now, the moment of truth. I'm going to put just a little bit of this fabric glue under here. Just enough to hold that down. Like that. And then I'm going to use this glue. I trimmed this board a little bit because when I looked down from this angle I could see it just a little bit. So I trimmed it a little bit so that it wasn't as noticeable. And I'm going to use this heavier glue to glue this down. Onto this cover. Give me an extra shot along that outside edge. And get me some, I think those are going to be too heavy. Okay. Okay. So let's pull some of these out and I was going to put the metal clips on, but I'm not sure now that I'm going to do that. Once this dries, we'll see how it all looks and go from there. But this will take a little while to dry. I need one more in that corner. This is just going to have to be like it is. Okay, if I can come up this way. I don't want to make marks on the paper if at all possible, but put this down here. But it might have to happen just to get that on there. I am going to go ahead and tie this little thing. Okay. Now we've got to let that dry, and once that's dry we'll come back and I will decide if I'm going to put the corner protectors on. It might actually not need them, but at any rate, and also put the rose on, but I'll wait to the very last to do that because it's fragile. So that's as much as we can do now. This will take a little while, but we'll go on to the next step as soon as it's dry. Well, I have decided to put the corners on because I just think it looks better that way. I just sort of stuck them on temporarily just to see how it would look while this was cover was drying. And so I'm going to go ahead and put them on. So, but to put them on, I've got to take them back off first. So the let's see, I really need to have something to hold this down, but I don't want a big clip because it'll mark the paper, but I think it'll be alright if I just keep my hand over it. So so the way that I do it, and I've seen other people doing it. I mean, I've been doing this for several years now, but you always put just a little bit of glue in there. Not much though, because you don't want it squishing out. And I'm going to use this little paintbrush to smooth it out a little bit. So I'm going here first after I get it turned around. Now I did make these corners pretty thick. So basically you hand tighten it for lack of a better word, and then just have you some little pliers, and they're all made a little different. These have a little bar that will cinch down into your fabric or your cover. Some have little prongs, and then some have nothing at all. So there's the first one. I would like for it to go on a little bit further. There we go. And now let's do the same thing here. And I always start with the back. And the reason is sometimes, even if you've done this a long time, sometimes your hands and whatever you're using just don't cooperate that well. And so if you start with the back, that's where you're least likely going to see anything that doesn't turn out the best. So I start with the back for that reason. And that way, by the time I get to the front, I've got it kind of under control, I guess you could say. Okay. And just cinch that down. You see that glue squishing out there a little bit. That looks fine. That one still looks a little odd. There we go. Okay, now let's turn around and do the front side. And I'll just throw this paintbrush in some water when I'm done. There we go. Now these on the front, you won't be able to see them that well, but they will be on there. And that's what matters. Okay. Just making sure it's going where I want it to go. And one more. It's like, where did it go? Yeah, it's a miserable day outside. Oops. I know I put glue in that, but there we go. Alright. This one's still a little. Just a little off. Okay. So there's our little corners. Now they'll have to dry. Everything has to dry. But we're down to the final piece. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on right here. And this will just, it will have to sit because there's no way I can press it down. Now I've got just a little bit of glue on the lace there, but it'll be fine. Now that will dry clear. Okay. I'm going to tie this so it will stay down for me. Okay. Now it's done, but it has to dry. So when it's completely dry, when the rose is completely dry, when everything is completely dry, we'll come back and do a final view of it. Okay, it is finished. The glue under the rose is still a little bit wet, but it's set, so it won't move unless I really get rough with it, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to name this little book Annie Rose, because right here it does look like a S. So Annie Rose it is. And so this is the little book. This is the back side. I just overlapped this under and over, and then the back, so the little ties here, but it goes under the picture here. So we'll take a quick look inside. Now inside is, it's a naked journal basically. It has the little pocket here. It has excuse me, 5 signatures with a little paper pocket in the center of each one, like so, and they're all sewn in. And so you can put all kinds of little treasures in there. And then we get to the I'm certainly living a ragtime life. And these digitals I'll put on my Buy Me a Coffee, so you can download them and use them if you want to on a project. So that's the little book. Little books go quickly once you get your pages cut or torn, and the cover, it's basically after that it's just assembly. But anyway, that's the little tutorial for making a very small mini baby journal. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will be back with another tutorial project next week.